What's going on, YouTube? We're back with another beer review here. Stephanie and J-Dub. Best beers in me. Beer reviews from Maine, New England, and beyond. We've been in Portland a lot. We're going to stick right in Portland, right down the street from our last beer review. We're going to Austin Street. Their milk stout, 6 grain.
Can't go wrong with Austin Street.
I love me some Austin Street. We have not been to Austin Street in quite some time.
We have not been in Portland in quite some time.
That's true. Of course, things get back to normal. We'll go down. Now, they make a 6 grain with speckled axe. And it's one of my favorite stouts of all time. Now, I don't know if they stopped doing the coffee version or I just haven't been able to find it.
What's it been, like 2 years since we had that?
I've been trying to find it. This is just the regular Austin Street milk stout called 6 grain. It's named that way, I guess, because they brew it with 6 different grains in the grain build. Pours very dark, as you would expect. More towards the black than the dark brown, I would say.
I would say very black.
Not a whole lot of head on there. I should have given it the swirly swirl like Greg's beer reviews.
But I don't like mine with head.
But when you do make a head, it's a very
mocha looking.
Dark, yeah, like mocha.
Or caramel looking.
Very dark head from a very dark beer. You've already jumped the gun on the nose. What do you get?
Roasty. Chocolate.
Sweet roasty chocolate. I'm getting.
Me too.
All right. Let's dig in.
Cheers.
So the sweetness is fairly prevalent, I would say. The roastiness is right around mid-range for me.
I think it's more than mid for me. I think that's I find it quite roasty.
Maybe I'll try it again. The chocolate is pretty prominent.
It's a dark chocolate for me.
Mine's a sweet chocolate.
No,
I don't know if it's dark or not because I don't know my chocolates that well.
Yeah, it's I get a dark chocolate. So a dark chocolate has a stronger, more bitter taste to it.
Think about that while I sip on it.
So you have your milk chocolate, which is more of a milky, sweet, smooth chocolate. And you have a dark chocolate, which is more of a strong, bitter chocolate flavor.
See, this is coming off more like a milk chocolate then because it's sweet, creamy. But I mean, that's also the way the beer's put together too.
I get the sweet creaminess.
That's just, I'm getting the milk chocolate. Yeah. From what you told me, the difference between chocolates, apparently I need to learn my chocolates.
So dark chocolate is better for you health-wise than milk chocolate. I do get the smooth, little bit of sweetness. I get more of the roasty, dark chocolate kind of. That's what I'm getting.
Oh, there you go. 2 different takes on it, but again, beer is, the way you perceive beer is going to be different from person to person. Absolutely. Depending on your palate.
Yep.
Now, again, like I already said, one of my favorite stouts of all time is this beer with speckled axe coffee.
Okay. Speckled axe coffee, explain that to me.
It's, I don't know, they're a coffee roaster down in Portland
it's just a specific place, like a, okay.
That I've never, and I've always said that I need to get somewhere to get speckled axe coffee, just straight coffee, because it's in, or at least was in this beer, or in a variation of this beer, and it's in Jolly Woodsman, and it's been in some other beers, and every time I have it, it's such a delicious coffee that I just keep looking for that. And I, again, haven't been to Austin Street much, but usually you can find it at the stores. I cannot. So if anyone knows if they've been brewing 6 grain with speckled axe,
comment and let us know.
Let us know, because, and let me know where I can get it.
You know what's funny? I usually get, no matter what style of beer I have, I usually get the fruitiness or the citrus or the sweet roastiness up front and the bitterness in the back. And with this, I'm kind of getting the roasty, dark chocolate bitterness up front, and I'm kind of getting like that little bit of vanilla sweetness on the back end. Very good beer. So,
as it's sitting here warming up a little, I'm getting more of that dark roastiness. I'm not finding a whole lot of the bitterness that you're finding. It's sticking right around that sweet chocolate to me, the sweet milky chocolate, milk chocolate, whatever.
And so in the last review that we did, you had said, you know, we haven't done this for a month because we were kind of hit by the COVID and lost our taste and smell. And so maybe, who knows, like getting that back, having beers and different beers all the time can kind of wreck your palate. So maybe going all that time, you know, with not having any beer at all, doing any reviews, like not having any beer. So maybe that kind of like reset things. I don't know. Maybe I'm tasting things that I may not have tasted before. When I first started, you had been in the craft beer scene for a long time prior to me trying them. And so I was getting a lot of things that you used to get when you first
Right.
started that you weren't getting at that time.
Especially that pininess
Yeah.
in IPAs.
Yeah, so I mean maybe that's not a bad thing. Maybe you know, people should go a month or two without having a beer and just see if that kind of resets.
For health reasons, I think
I mean,
everyone
yes,
should take
absolutely.
some time off
But
from
do you know what
beer.
I'm saying? Like to kind of give your palate a break, like
Yeah,
reset, and then
it is.
and then maybe you'll get more of those like the roastiness or the citrus or the pine.
I think especially on IPAs, which I haven't drank a ton of since I was down with sickness. But see how they hit. I don't know. Maybe I can find some pine somewhere in a beer. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna find pine in this beer because it's a milk stout. So
And a darn good milk stout.
if I was gonna rate this, I'd give it 4.25. Very solid, very drinkable, delicious milk stout.
Yeah,
Very well put together.
I'd have to say the same, 4.25.
I mean, there's nothing in this beer that's probably gonna set it apart from a whole bunch of other milk stouts, other than it's just very well put together. It's a very delicious beer.
It's solid and it's consistent.
And I'm gonna continue to look for the Speckled Axe coffee.
Yeah,
version.
I'm really hoping like someone will comment and say, hey, like this is where you can get this.
I don't know, maybe Jake and Will had a falling out with Speckled Axe, and they're like, screw you guys now.
Maybe.
I doubt that happened. But, again, comment down below, like, subscribe while you're at it. If you would, just hit that bell and get all the notifications, you know what I mean?
I do.
And let us know if you know, if they still make 6 grain with Speckled Axe, because if they do, I may walk to Portland to get it, because that's how much I love it.
So please let him know because I would like to see that.
But where are you at on this one for a rating?
I said 4.25.
Oh, sorry.
I was
So you agreed with me?
Yeah, right there with you.
You should agree with me. Just kidding. Again.
Oh Lord.
All right. Let's check out the Untappd. 11,000 people give this a 3.97. And surprisingly enough, 18 of our friends give it a 3.97.
Yeah,
So our friends on Best Beers in Me, add us if you're on Untappd. Agree with 11,000 other people, that's a 3.97 beer.
yeah,
I think this beer is
Easily.
over a 4.
yeah, easily a 4.25.
3.97 is pretty darn close to a 4.
But what do you always say? The taste of these beers is what?
It's all subjective.
Right.
So ratings don't really mean anything other than overall, is it popular?
However, a lot of times, if I go into a place to buy a beer, I will pull up my Untappd and look at what the rating is, and sometimes that will determine whether or not I buy that
absolutely
beer.
does, and I think that's why a lot of breweries don't really like Untappd.
Yeah, I get that.
A lot of people that have been in beer a long time, they are sick of Untappd. Some people think it's a bad thing. Some people think it's a good thing. I think it's a great way to keep track of what you've had for beers,
Right.
and if you like it. It kind of can be a guide when you're buying. Like
I don't do that so much anymore. So for me, a lot of times I'll buy it because like that can's really cool looking. Like so even if the beer isn't great, I have the can and that's a cool looking can.
Yeah.
Or
I actually did that recently on a beer that will be coming out. Because
Or-
it looked like a Campbell soup.
yeah, I like
That's an IPA.
I like the description of that beer. Or okay, so there's been several other things from this brewer that I really liked. I'm gonna try it. But for quite some time, I would look on Untappd and I'd be like, oh no, that's not a great rating, so I'm probably not going to buy that beer. I probably wouldn't buy.
I find myself doing that too often, probably.
If I went into a place where I had to buy a 4-pack of something and it got somewhat of a lower rating, I'd probably be more hesitant to purchase it. But when you go somewhere where you can purchase singles, I'd be a little more apt to say, you know, I'm going to try that.
But where it's not a hazy IPA, you got to figure it's going to rank lower than it probably should anyway. The hazies on there get crazy scores.
But people tend to like the hazies.
I know. I mean, I still do, but not like I used to.
But you went through that. You were all like pining for the hazies. No pun intended.
So,
But
with that, knowing that, just a regular plain old milk stout, getting a 3.97 is probably a good score.
Really?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Haven't looked up a lot of milk stouts on Untappd. But.
So did this have the canned on date?
Does it? That's a good question. It does, and this is just over 2 months old in the can.
Way to go, Austin Street.
Which, yeah, it's very clear too.
Which I said in the
You'll see it
last
on
review.
camera, but it's,
I've said in many reviews, and I'm gonna
a lot of them
probably
are
say it.
smudged even.
Probably say it in every review. Canned on date is really important
It is.
because I'm more likely to pass by the beer that doesn't have a canned on date if I don't know how fresh it is.
Not so much with a milk stout. They're going to be able to survive a little better. However, I had a milk stout that was a year and a half old yesterday. Yeah, it was still a fine taste, but it had a lot of
Sludge.
stuff in the bottom of the glass. Anyways, good point. I didn't even think to look for the canned on date, but it is there. So Austin Street, that's a little plus there. Might just tick it up to 4.33 following my score.
Yeah, no, I really think and I don't care what styles a beer is. So probably the IPAs are a little more important, but I just think that canned on date's really important because if you're gonna pick, being realistic, the craft beers are a little more expensive than your run-of-the-mill beers. So if you're gonna pay a good price for a 4-pack of beer, I'd really like to know how fresh it is.
That's true. Most time if I buy a full 4-pack, it's a beer I already know I'm gonna like. And I know it's going to be fresh, and it's probably going to come from a brewer. When I go to a beer store like Damon's, I try to buy singles. Especially now that we have a beer channel, I'm just going to get one that I can review.
Right.
But where was I going with that?
The canned on date.
The canned on date, yes.
Buying
It
a
is
4-pack
important.
as opposed to a
Yes.
single can.
Anyways, that's enough ranting about canned on dates and Untapped and all that. So that was the beer review for Austin Street 6 grain. Let us know what you think if you've had it, and again, let me know if you know where I can get 6 grain with speckled axe, because I am on a mission to get it.
And I want to see him walk to Portland.
And that's probably not going to happen. So, do all the things. Like, subscribe, hit the bell,
Comment.
comment, especially if you know where I can get the 6 grain. But I've said that enough, I think, on this review. This is just a very good beer, as it is.
Mm-hmm.
You add that speckled axe coffee, and it takes this beer
To a new level.
to a whole new galaxy. It's a 5 all day for me. I love that beer so much. I miss that beer. I want that beer. So help me out, YouTube land. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers, Stephanie.
Have a great night.